Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever noticed how a man's hello can tell you everything you need to know about how he feels? It's never just a greeting, it's a confession. The way his eyes light up before he even speaks, the way his voice softens when he says your name, the way the entire room seems to shift when you walk in, that's not coincidence, that's emotion, revealing itself. When a man greets you like that, it's not politeness, it's passion he can't hide. And if you've ever felt that kind of energy, you know he's not just interested, he's crazy about you. And ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something most people overlook, the small moments that speak the loudest. When a man greets you, it's not just a hello. It's a mirror reflecting what's really going on inside him. It's his emotional fingerprint. Because when a man is truly crazy about you, it shows in the way he enters your space, in the way his eyes light up before his lips even form a word, in the way his energy shifts the air around you. That greeting, that simple, seemingly insignificant moment, tells you everything you need to know about how he feels. And when a man greets you like you're the best part of his day, that's not casual, that's not polite. That's passion disguised as presence. You'll see it in the way he pauses for just a second when you walk into the room, as if his brain momentarily forgets whatever it was doing. You'll see it in the smile that isn't forced, the kind that reaches his eyes before it reaches his mouth. His entire body language changes, his posture straightens, his tone softens, and suddenly it feels like the world slows down because he's fully tuned into you. That's not ordinary attention, that's admiration overflowing. And when a man truly cares, he doesn't just greet you with words, he greets you with emotion. There's warmth in his voice, curiosity in his eyes, and sincerity in his presence. You can feel that he's not just saying hey out of habit, he's saying it like he's genuinely glad you showed up. Like something about your presence makes him feel grounded again, and that's how you know it's real, because real attraction doesn't scream. It whispers through consistency, through energy, through that unspoken spark that pulls you in every time. And sometimes you'll notice he leans in a little closer when he talks to you, not because he has to, but because he wants to be inside your world. You'll notice how his tone changes softer, lighter, like his voice is smiling even before he does. You'll catch him looking at you longer than necessary, almost as if he's afraid to miss even 1 second of your presence. And here's the thing, he may not even realize he's doing it. That's what makes it so genuine. It's not calculated. It's instinctive. When someone truly feels something for you, it shows up in their smallest habits, the way they greet you, the way they listen, the way they look at you when they think you're not watching. But the real magic isn't just in how he greets you, it's in how you feel when he does. Does his presence make you feel seen? Do you feel lighter, calmer, more confident just by the way he looks at you? Because attraction that's built on something real doesn't make you question your worth, it amplifies it. When a man greets you like you're the highlight of his day, he's not trying to impress you, he's appreciating you. That's the difference between a man who's playing a part and a man who's truly captivated. And he doesn't need to say grand things. He doesn't need to put on a show. His greeting alone can tell you volumes. It's in the effort he puts into showing up, not just physically, but emotionally. It's the way he remembers small details, the way he gives you his full attention even in the smallest interactions. When he greets you like that, it's not just affection, it's respect, Because when a man values you, he acknowledges you fully every time. And let's be honest, most people underestimate how powerful that moment of greeting really is. They think it's just a formality, but in reality, it's the emotional tone setter for everything that follows. The way he greets you can reveal how much he's missed you, how much he's thought about you, how much he's invested in you, even if he hasn't said a single word. If he greets you with genuine joy, with energy, with admiration, it's because he's emotionally connected to you in a way that words can't quite express. And you might even notice that when he's crazy about you, his greeting feels personal. It's not the same one he gives to everyone else. There's something special about the way he says your name, the way his face softens, the way his guard drops. It's subtle, but it's powerful, because in that 1 second, his true emotions slip through, and you see the version of him that doesn't hide. The version that's unfiltered. That's when you know. And now, here's where it gets interesting. When a man truly likes you, he doesn't just greet you with excitement. He greets you with intention. He pays attention. He notices how you're feeling. He senses your mood. He adjusts his energy to meet yours, not out of obligation, but out of empathy. That's emotional intelligence, and it's one of the clearest signs that his feelings go deeper than attraction. He's not just drawn to you, he's connected to you, and he'll make you feel safe in that moment. You won't have to guess. Because when someone's energy is genuine, your body knows it before your brain does. You'll feel that subtle calmness, that warm rush of being around someone who truly values your presence. That's the feeling that tells you he's crazy about you, not the grand gestures, not the fancy compliments, but the everyday sincerity that shows up in the smallest interactions. And here's something most people miss. When a man greets you like that, it's not just because of who you are. It's also because of how you make him feel. When you carry yourself with confidence, when you're comfortable in your own skin, when you bring warmth and authenticity into a room, you invite that kind of energy. You become magnetic. People can't help but respond differently to you. So when he greets you like you're someone special, part of that is because you've shown up as someone who knows her worth. And you see, real attraction isn't built on mystery or games. It's built on emotional connection. When he's crazy about you, he doesn't hide it behind indifference or coldness. He allows it to show in the way he treats you right from the very first word he says. It's effortless. It's natural and it's constant. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to decode it. You just feel it. Because love, when it's real, doesn't need translation, and so pay attention to how he greets you. Because it's in those moments, those seconds that seem so ordinary, that truth reveals itself. Watch how his face changes when he sees you. Notice how his energy rises, how his focus sharpens, how he seems to forget about everything else for a moment. That's not coincidence. That's emotion in motion. That's what it looks like when someone's heart is leading before their mind catches up. And when a man greets you like you're the person he's been waiting to see all day, that's not just chemistry, that's connection. And it's rare, it's real, it's powerful. It's the kind of greeting that doesn't just make you feel wanted, it makes you feel understood. It's the kind of moment that reminds you that love isn't always loud or complicated. Sometimes it's just in the way someone says hello. And because that hello, that look, that tone, that spark carries a truth deeper than any declaration. It's the emotional honesty most people spend their lives craving but rarely experience. When a man greets you like you're the one person who truly matters in that moment, it tells you that something about you reaches him beyond attraction. It's not about how you look that day, or what you're wearing, or even what you say. It's about what you represent to him: comfort, connection, safety, admiration. He's not reacting to your appearance, he's responding to your energy, and that's what makes his greeting feel so different. And when he's crazy about you, that greeting becomes his way of saying, I see you, not just the surface you, but the real you, are the one beneath the walls and insecurities. That's why it feels so magnetic. It's not that he's mastered charm, it's that his emotions have outpaced his logic. You can sense it before he speaks. His eyes soften, his body turns toward you instinctively, and he's fully present. You know the difference because presence cannot be faked. When someone's only half interested, their attention flickers. But when someone truly feels something, their energy roots itself in the moment. You can feel it radiate from them like a quiet pulse. And he doesn't need to fill the silence with compliments or jokes, because his energy already says everything. And it's that quiet confidence that tells you his interest isn't fleeting. He's not greeting you for attention, he's greeting you for connection. That's the kind of attraction that goes beyond the physical. It's the kind that hits deeper, where the soul recognizes something familiar, something it doesn't want to lose. But what's powerful is that his greeting also reveals something about you, because how he greets you often mirrors the energy you bring into his world. When you walk into a room with self-worth, people respond to that frequency. When you carry yourself like someone who doesn't need validation but welcomes genuine affection, you attract people who meet you on that level. A man who's crazy about you doesn't just admire your beauty, he's drawn to your sense of self. You're not begging for attention, you're commanding respect through quiet confidence. And that's what shifts everything. And sometimes his greeting feels playful, that teasing smile, that light touch on your arm, that little laugh that escapes without him meaning to. That's his way of saying, you have power over me, without ever admitting it out loud. Other times it's gentler, slower, softer, like he's afraid to break the moment. That's when you know it's real, because men don't slow down for just anyone. They slow down when something or someone feels important. And watch how his demeanor changes when he sees you unexpectedly. He could be deep in conversation, but the moment you appear, it's like his focus resets. That slight hesitation before his smile spreads, that's not just politeness, that's affection catching him off guard. That's emotion bypassing his cool exterior, and it's beautiful because it's raw, it's unfiltered. That's what makes the moment sacred. It's not about romance in the traditional sense, it's about emotional truth. And maybe that's what makes this whole thing so meaningful, that these small gestures, these simple hellos, hold such emotional weight. Because when someone's feelings are genuine, they don't always show up in grand declarations. They show up in consistent, understated ways, in the warmth of their tone, in the eagerness in their eyes, in the way their entire energy lifts when you're around. That's the kind of affection that builds something lasting. And there's something magnetic about someone who greets you like they've just been waiting for you to arrive, not because they're needy, but because your presence adds something to their world. You don't complete them, you enhance them. You bring peace, lightness, a sense of belonging they didn't even realize they were missing. And that's what makes him light up when he sees you. It's not infatuation, it's recognition. It's his heart quietly saying, "This feels right." And when a man is crazy about you, you'll notice how his greeting evolves over time. In the beginning, it might be excitement, that rush of seeing you, the spark of anticipation. But as things deepen, that greeting becomes steadier. It's calmer, more secure, yet still filled with warmth. That's when you know his feelings aren't just passion, they're rooted in something real. He's not trying to impress you anymore. He's showing up as himself, fully and openly, and that's the truest form of connection there is. And you'll see it in how he reaches out to you, not always physically, but emotionally. He'll ask about your day not out of politeness, but because he genuinely wants to know. He'll remember details from past conversations. He'll make eye contact and hold it, not to dominate, but to understand. That's emotional depth disguised as simplicity. And the way he greets you every time reinforces that depth. It's his way of grounding both of you in the moment, reminding you that he's there, that he sees you, and that he's choosing you again and again, even in the smallest ways. And let's be honest, that's what we all crave, to be met with consistency, to feel seen, not just looked at, to be greeted with warmth that doesn't fade when things get comfortable. That's why the way he greets you matters so much. Because it's not about the words he uses, it's about the feeling behind them. Does he greet you like it's routine, or does he greet you like it's privilege? Does he say, "Hey," like a habit, or does he say it like gratitude? Those tiny differences tell you everything about where his heart is. And if you've ever been greeted like that, you know it. You feel your guard drop instantly, your shoulders relax. You don't have to perform, because in that moment, you're not being appraised, you're being appreciated. That's the energy of someone who's emotionally invested. He doesn't greet you to get something from you. He greets you because your presence genuinely fills something in him. That's rare, that's valuable, and it's something worth recognizing when it happens. But there's another layer to this, one that many people overlook. When a man greets you with that kind of warmth and attention, it's not just a reflection of how he feels about you. It's also a reflection of his own emotional maturity, because a man who is emotionally unavailable might feel attraction, but he won't know how to express it with vulnerability. A man who's ready, who's open, who's done the work to know himself, he won't hide it. His greeting becomes his truth. And that's when you see the difference between someone who likes the idea of you and someone who's ready for you. And he's not performing, he's not calculating how to appear cool or detached, he's not masking interest with indifference. He's comfortable enough to let his affection show. He greets you like someone who's not afraid to care. And that's one of the strongest forms of attraction, the courage to be genuine, and even in public, you'll sense it. He doesn't shy away from acknowledging you. His body naturally orients toward you, even in a crowd. He introduces you to others with pride, not hesitation, and it's not about showing you off, it's about including you in his world. His greeting becomes a bridge between your lives. That's how love expresses itself in its purest form, not through performance, but through openness. And yet, the real beauty is that this kind of greeting doesn't demand attention, it gives it. It's not about proving feelings, it's about showing them in quiet, consistent ways. You'll notice that he treats those moments, the moments where you reconnect, even briefly, as sacred. That's how you know his emotions run deep. And so, when he greets you with that warmth, with that spark, with that unmistakable sincerity, understand what's happening beneath the surface. That's not just chemistry, that's emotional resonance. That's his heart speaking before his words can catch up. It's him silently saying, "You matter to me. You're not just another face in the crowd." And every time he greets you like that, he's reaffirming something important, that connection still matters, that presence still matters, that real emotion still exists in a world full of distractions and half-hearted interactions. It's not the words that captivate you, it's the energy behind them. And when that energy feels safe, consistent, and real, it changes everything. And because at the end of the day, how someone greets you tells you everything about how they value you. And when that greeting feels like warmth wrapped in respect, when it feels like home instead of performance, that's when you know. That's when you feel it in your chest, in your stomach, in that quiet place inside you that whispers, "This is real." And because when something is real, it doesn't need to announce itself. It simply shows up. That greeting, that look, that tone, they're all part of a language that doesn't need words. You can feel it in your bones when it's genuine. You can sense when someone's energy shifts because of you. And that's the beauty of it. Authenticity can't be rehearsed. When a man is truly crazy about you, his greeting reveals it in the smallest, most human way possible. His guard drops, his voice softens, he forgets the performance the world demands from him, because in front of you, he doesn't need it. He can just be, and you'll see it in how he listens when you speak, even in those few seconds after you say hello. His attention doesn't wander. His eyes don't dart toward his phone or the door. His focus stays with you as if the rest of the world fades out for a moment. That's what happens when someone is emotionally invested. They prioritize presence over perfection. And when he greets you with that kind of presence, it's not just a casual encounter, it's an emotional declaration. It's him saying, "You have my attention and you have my respect." And the way he greets you also tells you how safe he feels with you. When a man feels free to show his excitement, when he doesn't hide his smile or mask his emotions with cool detachment, it means you've created an environment where vulnerability feels natural. That's powerful because real intimacy isn't built on intensity, it's built on safety. The warmth in his hello, the ease in his laughter, the lightness in his energy, all of that is evidence of something rare, emotional trust. And sometimes that greeting will be playful, sometimes calm, sometimes electric, but underneath all of it, there's a steady pulse of affection. Even when he's tired or distracted, his eyes still soften when he sees you. Even when he's had a long day, his energy lifts for you, not out of obligation, but because your presence recharges him. That's when you know it's more than attraction, it's emotional nourishment. It's that feeling of "I can breathe easier when you're here." And it's not just about how he greets you when things are easy. Pay attention to how he greets you when things are uncertain. When there's tension, when there's distance, when life has thrown challenges between you, does he still meet you with gentleness? Does he still offer warmth, even when words are hard to find? Because the real test of affection isn't how someone behaves when everything's perfect. It's how they choose to show up when emotions are messy. A man who's crazy about you won't let pride silence his tenderness. His greeting may be quieter, but the care behind it will be unmistakable. And there's something deeply human about those moments when his eyes meet yours, and there's a quiet acknowledgement that no matter what's happening, there's still connection. That's what love looks like beneath all the noise: consistency, the ability to keep showing up with presence, even when the spark has been replaced by depth. When a man greets you like that, he's saying, "I'm still here," and that's the kind of emotional steadiness that builds unbreakable bonds. And you'll notice, too, that when someone's truly drawn to you, his greeting doesn't just stay the same, it evolves. It starts as excitement, turns into comfort, and eventually becomes something sacred. In the beginning, it's the rush, the quick smile, the eager energy, the spark in his eyes. Later, it becomes something calmer but even more meaningful, the kind of look that says, "You belong here." That shift is powerful because it means what he feels for you isn't temporary, it's growing roots. But none of this would mean anything if you didn't recognize your own role in it. You see, how a man greets you also reflects how you greet yourself. The way you carry your energy, the way you walk into a room, the way you hold space for yourself, that sets the tone for how others respond. When you show up with warmth, confidence, and self-respect, you invite that same energy back. The reason his greeting feels magnetic is because, on some level, you've given him something real to connect to. You've made authenticity safe, and that's what draws people in: not perfection, but realness, the way you smile without overthinking it, the way you hold eye contact without fear, the way your energy communicates that you're grounded in who you are. When he greets you with that excitement and admiration, it's because your presence reminds him of something rare: peace and passion coexisting. And that's what every person secretly craves: someone whose presence feels both thrilling and safe. And when a man's truly captivated, his greeting often carries that duality. There's the thrill, that spark of, "I can't believe she's here." And there's the comfort, that calm sense of, "I'm exactly where I want to be." Together, those feelings create something unforgettable. You become the moment he looks forward to, the one he replays in his mind after you leave, the one that keeps him smiling without realizing it. That's how deeply a simple hello can reach when it's fueled by real emotion, and it's not always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's quiet, a soft smile, a steady gaze, a shift in posture that says everything without words. But make no mistake, the energy is unmistakable. His greeting tells a story, and that story is written in the way his body reacts before his mind even catches up. His chest expands, his voice brightens, his face softens, all involuntary signs that he's not in control of how he feels around you. His body betrays his emotions before his words can protect them, and there's a kind of vulnerability in that, and it's beautiful. Because in that moment, he's not hiding, he's not performing, he's just feeling. And that's what connection really is: not two people trying to impress each other, but two souls responding to something real. You feel it in your chest, that subtle warmth that spreads before you even know why. That's emotional resonance. That's chemistry with depth. And if you're honest with yourself, you've felt that before. That moment where a simple hello from the right person changes your entire mood. Where your own energy rises to meet theirs, and suddenly you feel more alive. That's what makes those greetings unforgettable. They awaken something inside you. They remind you of your own aliveness, your own capacity for emotion, for joy, for love. And that's what makes this dynamic so magnetic. It's not just about him being crazy about you. It's about how that energy awakens something within you, too. And every time he greets you like that, you're reminded that you deserve that kind of warmth. You deserve to be met with that kind of attention and enthusiasm. Too many people accept half-hearted effort, lukewarm energy, distracted hellos, and they call it normal. But it's not. When someone truly values you, their greeting shows it. It's intentional, it's warm, it's alive. You never have to wonder if they're happy to see you, because their energy tells you before their words do. And maybe that's the lesson hidden inside all of this, that real love isn't something you chase, it's something you recognize. You recognize it in the way someone greets you, the way they listen, the way they show up without fanfare or force. You recognize it in the consistency of their presence, in the gentleness of their tone, in the way they make ordinary moments feel special. You recognize it because it feels like peace, not confusion. And so, when you find someone who greets you like that, with sincerity, with warmth, with that undeniable spark that doesn't fade, pay attention. Because that's not just a greeting, that's a glimpse into how they love. That's how a man reveals the truth of his heart without even realizing it. It's not the grand gestures or the perfect words that matter. It's the everyday moments when his energy says, "You matter to me," even when his mouth stays silent. And that's what makes it so powerful, because it's real. It's not performance, it's connection. It's the kind of moment that doesn't just make you feel desired, it makes you feel understood. It's the kind of greeting that reminds you that love, in its truest form, doesn't need to shout to be heard. It just needs to be felt, and because the truth is, the real power of that greeting lies in what it awakens, not just in him, but in you. When someone greets you with that genuine spark, something deep inside of you recognizes it. It's like your heart straightens its posture and says, "Yes, this is what it feels like to be truly seen." You don't have to question it, analyze it, or second guess it, because authenticity doesn't create confusion. It creates calm, it creates safety, it creates a quiet certainty that you don't need to explain. And you feel that warmth because you're being met where you deserve to be met, with presence, with curiosity, with respect. That's what sets it apart from all the surface level connections that leave you feeling empty. When someone greets you like you matter, it's not about impressing you. It's about appreciating you. It's the difference between someone wanting your attention and someone valuing your energy. You can feel the distinction instantly. One feels like a performance, the other feels like peace. And it's not just about romantic attraction, it's about emotional alignment. Because when someone's energy greets yours with warmth and intention, it speaks to a deeper kind of understanding. It says, "I recognize something familiar in you. It's not always logical, but it's always real. There's an unspoken resonance, like two frequencies that suddenly harmonize." And when that happens, it doesn't just make you feel seen, it makes you feel understood. And that's why that greeting carries such power, because it's not built on words. It's built on energy. You can sense when someone's greeting is half-hearted, distracted, or obligatory. You can also sense when someone's greeting is overflowing with emotion they can't even articulate. When he's crazy about you, it's that latter kind. His voice has a different rhythm. His eyes light with recognition before his mouth even moves. His shoulders loosen, his chest lifts, all involuntary signs that his emotions are running ahead of his logic. It's the kind of reaction that no amount of acting could replicate, but it's not just about the way he greets you, it's about the way you respond. Because when you meet that energy with openness instead of self-doubt, you invite even more authenticity into the space between you. You mirror his presence with your own. You don't shrink away or play small. You let yourself be seen too. That's where real connection begins, not in trying to earn someone's affection, but in allowing yourself to receive it fully. And most people don't realize how much they block connection by overthinking it. They try to decode every word, every look, every pause. But connection doesn't need decoding, it needs feeling. When someone greets you like that, your job isn't to question it. Your job is to breathe it in, to stay present, to let the moment unfold without fear. Because the moment you start doubting whether you deserve that kind of attention, you dilute the very magic that drew it to you in the first place. And the way he greets you reflects something deeper, the space you've created for genuine emotion. You've built it through your energy, your self-awareness, your confidence. You've made it easy for someone to show up authentically because you're doing the same. That's what true magnetism is, not manipulation, not mystery, but authentic presence. When you're grounded in who you are, people can't help but respond differently to you. They greet you like you matter, because you treat yourself like you matter. And you'll start to notice how his tone softens every time you speak, how his body naturally turns toward you even in a crowded room, how he subconsciously leans in when you talk. These are small gestures, but they carry the weight of something genuine. He's not trying to get your attention, he's already captivated. And his greeting, no matter how subtle, is proof of that emotional pull he can't seem to hide. And sometimes it's in the way his smile arrives before his words do. Sometimes it's in the quick inhale before he speaks, that tiny moment where he collects himself because seeing you caught him off guard. Other times, it's in the way he seems to lose track of time mid-conversation, as if his whole world has narrowed down to just the space between you. You'll recognize it because it doesn't feel performative. It feels effortless, natural, unguarded. That's what happens when someone is genuinely drawn to you. Their walls lower without them even noticing. And the irony is, it's in these small moments that people reveal their biggest truths. Not in grand gestures, not in poetic declarations, but in the quiet ways they consistently show up. A man can tell you he likes you, but it's in the way he greets you again and again, with genuine warmth and excitement, that his words find their proof. That's the kind of affection that can't be rehearsed. It's instinctive, it's honest. And what's powerful about this is that his greeting is never just about you. It's about what being around you awakens in him. You bring out a version of him that's lighter, more open, more present. You remind him what it feels like to connect without fear. That's why his energy changes when he sees you. You become a mirror that reflects the best parts of him back to himself. And that's one of the most magnetic dynamics in human connection, when two people make each other feel more alive simply by existing in the same space. And that's what makes certain moments unforgettable. It's not because they're extraordinary, but because they're emotionally true. That one look, that one hello, That one shared smile, it imprints itself in your memory because it feels pure. It feels honest. It's the kind of moment that doesn't fade easily because it touched something deeper than attraction. It touched recognition, and over time, you'll start to notice how this pattern continues. It's not just in the initial excitement. Even as things become familiar, even as life gets busy, his greeting still carries that spark. That's how you know it's real. It doesn't fade when comfort arrives. If anything, it grows steadier. It becomes the quiet reassurance of someone who still chooses you every time, even after the novelty has worn off. That's the kind of affection that endures, not the fireworks, but the warmth that never stops showing up. And that's what makes this so important to understand, because too many people mistake inconsistency for mystery. They chase mixed signals, thinking that unpredictability means passion, but real passion doesn't come from chaos. It comes from clarity. It comes from someone who greets you with the same excitement on day 1 as they do on day 100, not because they're infatuated, but because they're grateful. When he greets you like that, what he's really saying is, I still see you, I still choose you, and that consistency builds emotional safety, and emotional safety is the foundation of real intimacy. It allows both people to relax, to express, to be vulnerable without fear of judgment or rejection. When someone greets you with warmth, no matter what's going on, it tells you that you don't need to perform to earn their affection. You can show up as you are, tired, distracted, even imperfect, and still be met with kindness. That's what true connection feels like. Unconditional presence. And when you experience that, you begin to raise your standards. You stop accepting greetings that feel cold or detached. You stop confusing inconsistency with passion. You begin to recognize that love isn't about constant intensity, it's about emotional integrity. You start to understand that being greeted with genuine warmth every time isn't asking for too much. It's the baseline of respect and affection that you've always deserved. And so when he greets you with that spark, that unmistakable energy that says, you matter to me, don't overlook it. Because that's not just a sign of his attraction. It's a glimpse into his heart, into the way he experiences connection. It's the kind of greeting that carries the weight of unspoken emotion, the kind that can't be faked, the kind that leaves you thinking about it long after it's over. It's not about drama or intensity, it's about truth. And you'll know it when you feel it, because everything inside you will respond. It won't feel like anxiety, it'll feel like peace. It won't make you question, it'll make you exhale. And in that simple, sacred moment, you'll understand that sometimes the most profound expressions of love aren't shouted. They're whispered in the smallest gestures. They're tucked into the way someone says your name. They're written in the way someone greets you and can't help but light up when they do.